Welcome to the Rob Burgess Show. I'm, of course, your host, Rob Burgess. On this, our 130th episode, our returning guest is Ash Burgess. You first heard Ash Burgess on episodes 16, 26, 27, 39, 58, 63, 77, 86, 91, 100, 124, and episode 82, which also featured fellow regular guest Jonathan Fowler of the podcast. Ash Burgess has a dusty degree in religious studies and an appetite for both high and low culture. She strives to celebrate the best of every season with her young children. And now, on to the show.
Alright, well, Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays.
Happy Holidays to you, Rob.
I see how it is.
Is it Happy Holidays or is it Christmas with a capital C? We don't have to go into that. Swerve to another topic.
I was just trying to start with a friendly.
And I was just going right into the controversy.
Innocuous.
But honestly, I've always thought, my impression as a child was that when people say Happy Holidays, it's including the fact that we're in the holiday season. We just went through Thanksgiving, we're into the Christmas time, or whatever other holidays you have going on. There's others, obviously happening now too. And then New Year's. So I just thought it was kind of inclusive of the fact that there's like a string of holidays at this time of year. Not necessarily pointedly being like holidays because I don't want to say Christmas.
But I know you celebrate Christmas.
I do. But I'm saying that, what I'm saying is that I've never understood people that get too upset about the whole saying Happy Holidays versus saying Merry Christmas, because my impression as a child, and I feel like I was right on here, is that when people say Happy Holidays, it's not necessarily pointedly to avoid saying the word Christmas. It's just inclusive of the entire holiday season, because whether or not you celebrate Christmas, there are some other holidays happening, like Thanksgiving and New Year's, that you're probably aware of, if not observing, during this, window of time, or this season, if you will. Mm-hmm. So, Happy Holidays, kind of like Happy Holiday
So do you just not say Merry Christmas ever?
Are you saying me, or are you saying No, I say Merry Christmas, but I mean...
What situations do you say Merry Christmas in, then?
I say Merry Christmas to people that I have reason to believe celebrate Christmas.
But that's the only reason I said it to you. I think it's totally
I know.
rude to say it to somebody who you have no idea whether or not they celebrate Christmas. It's very presumptive.
Sure, if you don't know someone or what their, holidays they are celebrating, Happy Holidays is safer. But I'm saying, I say Merry Christmas to other people that I think are celebrating Christmas, but I also say Happy Holidays sometimes to people who are celebrating Christmas if I want to wish them the entire season happy, not just Christmas, Like, if I don't think I'm actually going to see someone from the time between Thanksgiving and New Year's, even if I know that during that time they are celebrating Christmas, I might say Happy Holidays just to imply that I wish them a good Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
I would, of course, also say Happy Holidays to someone if I just don't know what they're celebrating and I just want to kind of wish them a good slide into winter.
Now, when you worked at Starbucks, did people ever get mad about this?
I feel like they did. I feel like when I worked at Starbucks, it was towards the beginning of when I became aware of it being like an issue with people, where people really cared deeply about it. Before that, I just kind of thought it was a general nice thing to say to people, and I didn't really think into it too much. And then I think it was during the time I worked there was when that really became like an issue, where it was like, oh, Happy Holidays. I know that in years after when I worked there, I think more recently, there's been issue taken with the Starbucks holiday cups not being Christmassy enough, I guess, is the issue that people have had. And then there's been the accusation that Starbucks was being too secular or something because their holiday, because Starbucks, they have the red cups that come out during the holiday season that are decorated, not the normal cups, holiday sort of decoration. And I know there's been the accusation that their holiday cups weren't Christmassy enough, and so the implication was that they were being too secular and they weren't being Christmassy, which I think is just ridiculous because it's things like a snowflake that people were, like, upset about, or, like, a scene with, like, you know, a reindeer, and people were like, this is not Christmas specific. And while, yes, it's true that's not Christmas specific, I kind of thought we had all agreed that reindeer were pretty tied to Christmas. Like, it's Christmassy enough for me, but, I mean, I'm obviously not the person that's getting upset about these things.
Mm-hmm. But just the fact that it didn't say Christmas...
I suppose, or I mean, maybe if there had been some kind of, like, a manger scene, that would have been, like, with the baby Jesus, that would have been enough for people. But also, wouldn't that be weird if there was, like, an entire,
why do you have to drink coffee with the baby Jesus?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying, like, wouldn't you be a little bit weirded out if there was, like, an entire nativity, like, on your Starbucks cup in the morning? Like, it's, like, we don't need that to be, like, I think just, like, a reindeer, like, clipping through the snow, like, that's Christmassy enough. Like, that doesn't imply that you're necessarily not celebrating Christmas. It's just, like, hey, you know?
True.
People like reindeers. I love reindeers.
Yeah. Who doesn't love a reindeer?
I don't want to know who doesn't love reindeers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do people still use reindeers for pulling things?
I don't know for sure. I know very little about actual reindeers. But what I would suspect is that most reindeer, at least in this country, if they are pulling something, it's being done kind of anachronistically, or, you know what I mean, when it's like, for display, like, just kind of, you have the reindeer because it's, like, an awesome, strange animal to have, and then you probably do have it pull a sled, but not, like, actually because you need it to do that for, like, work on your farm or anything, or, like, to transport you from place to place, but more just because you can, and because it's neat to be like, I'm going by reindeer in this sleigh. You know what I mean? That's what I would imagine. I don't think anyone's actually, like, working the reindeer, at least not around here. I don't know if there are any other countries where reindeer do more work.
But but reindeers are just deer, right? Just regular deer.
They're a special kind of deer.
What's special about them?
They're a specific kind of deer. I mean,
how different are they from, like, a white-tailed deer?
Very different. I mean, they're still deer. I think you could still. I think if you ate one, it would probably taste the same. But they're different. I think reindeer are a little larger. I imagine their fur is a little thicker because they're from more of a cold weather place. I think that their horns have that kind of fuzziness to them, although I guess they don't really have the fuzz all year, which I think might be the same as other deer, so never mind about that. But yeah, they're different, but I mean, it's just like, you know, there's other varieties of other kinds of animals.
Yeah, but what about temperament-wise? Are they the same as...
I don't
I've just never
know
seen
that much about reindeer personalities.
Okay, but I've never, you know, I've encountered, you know, deer I've seen in the woods, and, you know, there's deer that are, like, domesticated, and you go feed them corn from the vending machine at the side of the road or whatever.
So you're talking about, like, if you go to a park and then... I mean, I don't think you're supposed to do that anymore because the deer are really having an overpopulation problem.
Yes,
you really shouldn't be feeding Rob. You're the
I
reason.
haven't done this for a
You're
long
the reason there are too many deer.
No, this is when people, like, have them penned up.
No, I know what you're talking about, but I just think that's weird. I don't think deer really like to be penned up.
No, they don't. But anyway, I've never seen one of those deer and thought they need to be, like, some sort of pack animal. Like, they just seem a little too flighty or, like, spookable or, like...
I imagine that reindeer have some of the same temperament issues, but they do look stockier, don't they? Like, I think that they might actually have more muscle mass than, like, a white-tailed deer, for example. Don't you think? I mean, just based on the few actual reindeer I've seen, they look chunkier to me.
Yeah.
I think they're stronger. Like, I feel like a white-tailed deer or something, like... I think they're strong, but in a very lean sort of way, where it would be asking a lot to make them do any sort of grueling work where they're, like, pulling something. Like, that seems like it wouldn't be very nice.
I just wonder why people have gotten away from using reindeer, or deer in general, for, like, agricultural or transportation.
I mean, I suspect there's just other animals that are better
like horses.
at doing those things.
Horses are still around. We don't need horses to get around.
Horses are stronger.
But we keep horses because they're delightful to people and they like...
Reindeer are delightful to people, but I would say I think that horses can have more of a real relationship with a person. And of course, I'm sure there's someone out there that, you know, feels like they have a strong bond with their reindeer or whatever, but in general, it seems to me that horses maybe have a temperament where they can have a more fulfilling experience in relation to a human, whereas I don't know what kind of a bond. I don't know how deep the bond between a person and a deer is really going. It just doesn't seem quite the same. I mean, like, there's a reason, like, there's, like, therapy where you can go and ride a horse, or even just if you can't ride the horse, you can pet the horse, and just the bond between the human and the horse can be really, really valuable to people in a variety of different ways, both physically and emotionally. And I've never seen any sort of a therapy where it's like you and the deer, and you're petting the deer, and then like you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if deer have the same sort of emotional life that makes them compatible with people in the same way, let alone the physical aspect of like horses can be ridden and deers cannot. I just don't think that's like their backs are structured the right way or whatever.
You do a therapy deer, and then somebody would sneeze, and then you get gored by the therapy deer.
I mean, hopefully the therapy deer wouldn't have horns, but...
Yeah, I guess you'd probably want to shave that off. But also, you can't really ride reindeer, right? I mean, their backs aren't strong enough.
I mean, I just don't... Yeah, I don't know if they're strong enough and their backs are just not quite, like, laid out the same way or whatever. Like, it's just not... It's not the same type of thing, no.
They're not quite as versatile as
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway... I don't think we didn't plan on talking about reindeer.
No, this just kind of came out of nowhere. But I feel like this has been an interesting little aside, though.
Yeah, it's just something I've always wondered because it's so prevalent in the Christmas story as the whole reindeer thing, and it seems so like obvious. It's like, well, duh, of course, reindeer are pulling it.
I'm assuming there are more reindeer, maybe in like a Scandinavian kind of an area or something.
I guess that's probably what animal is available to be like pulling stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if, like, there's more of them, maybe they're kind of more of a natural deer that, like, occurs in certain areas.
Oh, you there, deer.
I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, going on to, more on to, like, what we plan to talk about, I guess.
Yes. So, Ash, you are doing Vlogmas.
I am doing Vlogmas, which, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it means that if you are someone who has a YouTube channel, which I am someone who has a YouTube channel, you are putting out a video every day in December. So basically, starting the 1st of December and then going through Christmas, it's a video every day, which is a lot of work.
It is. But you're way more than halfway done.
I know, and I can't even believe, like, I'm shocked that I've, like, already done this many, because it feels like it's gone by really fast, and at the same time I'm, like, exhausted, but I'm so excited, too, because I've enjoyed watching other YouTubers do Vlogmas for several years now, and it's been kind of an idea in my head, like a fantasy of something I would love to do, but it's like anything that's a lot of work and kind of a big project where there's always a reason not to do it, and this year, with your encouragement, I just decided not to let that stop me and just to do it, because there's always a reason to say, I didn't prepare enough, or I'm not quite ready to make every video be exactly how I would want it to, or, something, this or that. There's always a reason to stop yourself from doing something. But I mean, like you said to me, don't let the great get in the way of the good, which I think basically just means, don't let your fantasies of everything being perfect get in the way of doing something that, could really be, meaningful to you to do. And so I'm just happy that I'm doing this. I'm going to complete it. And I am happy with some of the videos I'm putting out. And I feel like pushing myself to make a video every day is really helping me to grow as a YouTuber as far as, like, really figuring out how to do stuff. Whereas before, I think I was struggling to put out content as often as I would like. And this is really helping me learn how to produce content faster.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really great for me.
Well, I think creativity often comes from having constraints and deadlines, and like you have assignments and you have to complete them by a certain time. Like if you force yourself to like have to do that, you just have to figure it out, and you'll have to be more creative than you, because you think like, oh, unlimited boundaries, no deadlines, get something out when you feel like it, when the spirit moves you, and it's like
no. Whenever I've had unlimited time and space, I've just pretty much wasted my time and space. Whenever I have the least time and the least space to do anything is whenever I have the most ideas. So yeah, it's really exciting, and I hope that, you know, anyone who's listening here, if they haven't already, will definitely check my channel out and subscribe so they can follow along with me through Vlogmas.
Mm-hmm. So what have you done for Vlogmas?
I've done some actual vlogs, which is basically like just filming your day. And vlogging is something that I'm kind of I feel like I'm getting better at vlogging, and I'm sort of trying to find my own voice. Because the part of vlogging that I struggle with is the part where you kind of narrate your day by kind of pausing throughout the day to kind of talk to the camera about like what you're about to do or what you're doing. And that always, you know, I'm sort of getting better at doing that part. I really love capturing moments of our day to save, especially moments of our kids, because they're so incredibly cute and they do things that are just, I want to remember those things forever. And that's one of the big reasons I started my channel, is just to have that thing giving me the extra motivation to remember to pick up the camera and document our family life.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's, you know, you just have to, like, that has to be part of your enjoyment, because, you know, there's no guarantee that, you know, 1 million people are going to watch your videos or listen to your podcast.
No, I mean,
or
it has
whatever.
to be. It has to be
personally.
For you,
it has to be personally meaningful for you in some way. It can't just be for the clicks. And also, that never works, I think, to chase clicks anyway. I feel like anytime someone is actually successful, it's just because they did something honestly, and it just happened to connect with people.
Exactly, and that's why, I mean, and that's kind of what drew me to YouTube initially, was as far as being someone who started watching YouTube videos and subscribing to different YouTubers. What drew me into that was really just being interested in, you know, seeing certain types of content that were maybe external to, like, things that I would see or talk about in my real life. And that kind of gave me an outlet to see things that are just interesting, personal to me. And so then my content that I'm making, it's got to be stuff that's interesting and personal to me, even if maybe people won't like it. And of course, I hope that people will like it, and I want to make stuff that people are going to be excited about. But at the same time, it is for my audience, because of course I'm putting it there, and I'm hoping people will, you know, watch it and like it. But it's also for me. It's what I want to make, and it's what I want to see. And when I'm making videos of our family, it's what I want to remember.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that's another good point. Is kind of like you're also taking this record for our family too. So.
And that's been a huge regret that I've had at various times in the past. Times when I didn't take as many photos as I wish I had, or I didn't take as many videos as I wish I had. And that's one of the major drives for me to start doing YouTube, is because it does, like I said, give me that push to remember to pick up the camera and to do more, instead of just thinking, oh, I'll do this at some point, and then time passes and you miss those windows of time. Like with our dog, I don't have hardly any pictures of him when he was a puppy, just because, you know, at the time it was just kind of happening, and I kind of thought he'd be a puppy for a long time, and then suddenly he was a big dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I regret not taking more pictures in that time. And of course, you know, if video had been more of a thing, then I would have, like, loved to have some videos of him as a baby. But, you know, I don't have those things. And so that's one of those things. I don't want to have those type of regrets with our children.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be the mom that takes too many photos and videos than be the mom that, like, regrets not having those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's some pretty incredible moments that you've captured so far.
I mean, I'm super biased, but we do have amazing kids. They're so cute and,
mm-hmm.
you know, so
Absolutely.
cute. And they're not just cute. They're very vibrant, unusual, dynamic, kind of exotic-looking people.
Mm-hmm. Like, Earl has done some pretty incredible dancing on camera.
My goodness. They're both in their own way performers.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Captain is more of like a interpretive dancer than like a...
I mean, his dancing is very wild, but I feel like in some ways he has the motivation to perform. Like, I would be very not surprised if he becomes like a theater person or something, because I feel like he wants to, like, put on a show. Like, he feeds off of the audience. Like, he's the type of person that does something, and I can see him looking at people to see them watching him, and I can see him, like, getting, like, more animated and bigger and wilder the more he sees, like, his audience engaging. Like, that's, like, a very, like, I think he's just a natural performer in that way. Emerald is more just sort of, she has, like, a certain star power that I don't think she really puts any effort into.
She's definitely got that it factor.
She definitely does.
That extra little thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, what are some of the other subjects of your videos that you've done?
Other than the vlogs, I've done a lot of shopping videos. Which I feel strange talking about that, but I shouldn't. Because, I mean, it's one of those things where, like I said before, part of what drew me to YouTube is that I have certain interests that maybe I don't nurture very much with people in real life. So then I went kind of to this other platform to kind of engage with things that I'm interested in that aren't really necessarily always a part of my life. And I guess what I mean is that, like, not everyone in my life loves to shop or, like, wants to talk about shopping.
You can just say me. It's okay.
No. But it's one of those things that I like, kind of, you know, and I'm trying to be more shameless about my interests, in a way. Because there's certain things that I guess I was raised to believe are very frivolous. But I've decided, you know what, like, if something brings me joy, that in itself is value. And I'm not going to stop myself from enjoying things that I enjoy just because there's, like, a voice in my head saying, oh, that's not a serious interest, that's frivolous. So, yeah, like, I love to shop. Even if I don't buy a lot of stuff, I love the comparison shopping. Like, I do a lot of, like, when I'm planning on buying something, I like to look at things online. I like to read a lot of reviews. I like to really think and be very intentional about what I'm buying. So for me, shopping isn't just kind of like a whirlwind of just acquiring stuff. To me, it's like looking at things and really seeing what might be worth considering acquiring. And what's going to really add value to my life, or maybe what could I imagine adding value to someone else's life. That's really what shopping is for me. And I also love to give gifts, and shopping is often part of that.
Mm-hmm. But that's fortunate for your channel because those are your most popular.
I think that's what other people want to see, so I'm not alone in liking that kind of stuff.
Not that that's a reason you should make those necessarily, but, you know, there's obviously an audience for that for a reason because it's something people are already interested in. And
people want recommendations. I mean, I know that's one thing I look for with YouTube is, like, if you're trying to find a gift for someone, recommendations. What kind of things do this type of person like, you know?
Mm-hmm. But you're going to finish Vlogmas?
Of course.
You're so close?
Nothing will stop me now.
Yeah.
I feel like, and obviously this is, like, maybe in certain ways an exaggeration and in other ways not. I feel kind of like it's a marathon. Mm-hmm. I mean, for someone that has very little free time, you know, because I'm, you know, taking care of our kids all the time. And they're not, like, great sleepers either. So it's not, I think before I became a parent, I had this fantasy that there would be more little times that I would be able to get things done. Like when people were sleeping or something. And I don't think I mean, there's no way you can anticipate what kind of kids you're going to get as far as, like, whether they're going to be people that, like, sleep a lot or easily or, like, not. Mm-hmm. And also just, you know, I think I failed to understand how much micromanagement children with certain types of temperaments might require. So for me, it's, I guess my point in this is just saying, you know, I don't have a lot of time to do, you know, filmmaking projects. And that's, like I said before, it's one of those excuses or a reason why maybe I've, you know, not done as much as I wanted to do in the past. But I'm not letting that stop me, even if it means that I don't get very much sleep. Like, I haven't gotten very much sleep this month, and I'm really not feeling that good. And it's hard, too, because, like, I want to look good on camera, but I definitely have, you know, some dark circles that I'm battling against. Mm-hmm. But I'm not letting that stop me, because that's another reason to not do something, is if you look at yourself on camera and you think, like, I look really tired, I have dark circles under my eyes, that's a reason to just delete the video and then not post it. But I'm not letting that hold me back.
That's an important step. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely stop yourself from progressing if you think that it's not even worth it before it's even out there.
Exactly. I mean, you could always look better. and you could always make the video better. You're always going to watch everything that I make, and I'm sure that most people that make anything feel this way. Whenever I look at it, there's a mixture of pride and excitement and, like, critique, where it's every little thing that you could have done differently or wish you had done differently, or if you'd known what you know now would have changed. But not letting yourself be held back by those things, I think, is a major step.
Mm-hmm. So, what are your subjects going to be for your next videos?
I mean, I wish I knew, because I'm a person who loves to plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually do have a very big, long list of video ideas, and I've done some of the ideas. So that's mostly what I've been doing, is just picking ideas. But to a certain extent, I'm going day by day, because there are some days when I'm able to work on my videos more, and then I'm able to do one of the ideas that I have that I was more, planned for and excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other days where just stuff is going on with the kids and the house and everything, and I'm just not able to really do what I might have done if I had more time, so then I kind of have to pick one of my ideas that seems simpler and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say exactly what's coming next as far as, like, what is the next video you're doing. I can say some videos I'm excited about that are coming up.
Like what?
Like, I'm going to do a What We Got Our Kids for Christmas video.
Mm-hmm.
That's a video that I'm excited about because it's the type of video that I love to watch. And, why I started my channel, other than to, record our family memories and everything like that, is to make the types of videos that I love watching. I wanted to make videos like that too. So I'm excited to do that, and I'm also excited to do just some of our holiday, even though I feel like if you have a not very known channel, people don't tend to watch your vlogs, but I'm excited to record some of our family moments and traditions as far as, what we're going to do on Christmas Eve, what we do on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to start doing some routine videos to show the different routines that we have with our kids, just as far as, like, a bedtime routine. And I kind of do it, like, wintery, like winter bedtime routine, winter morning routine, winter day at home, winter weekend, things like that, like, just to kind of show. And that's something that I think gives a lot of people a lot of value. People want to see how people structure their day. At least I know I like to see how other moms structure their day with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to start doing some videos like that.
Yeah. See, I guess that's one thing I don't really understand is, like, the whole going through the entire day thing is I'm always, like, at the last minute being like, hey, you should bring your camera, make something out of this, and you're always like, I didn't show us getting ready
because I think that, like, well, I think you kind of think, like, when we're doing something fun, I should bring my camera and film us doing the fun thing. But I feel like that's an incomplete vlog. Like, if you want to make a vlog, it's not just about you doing the thing, it's about the process. Because that's what people are interested in, like, how the sausage is made. Because, I mean, that's kind of part of what I started watching vlogs for initially was, like, I was interested, like, what is it like before I had a baby? What is it like to be a mom with a baby, taking care of the baby? Like, kind of what is your day really like? How do you get yourself ready? So that's kind of, people don't just want to see you, like, at the Christmas tree farm. They also want to see how you, got yourself showered and dressed and everything for the Christmas tree farm, how you got your kid ready, what you had for breakfast, how you got everybody loaded into the car, kind of the struggle. Because, I mean, that's most of what mom life is. It's those little details of making things happen. It's not just the highlights. It's kind of how we get to those highlight moments. It's just the daily grind of, like, what we need to do to keep our kids, like, alive and happy and well and feel like we're nurturing them and, keeping it going. Ooh, another video that I'm super excited to do soon is I want to do a What's in My Diaper Bag video.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably some of the very, very first videos I started watching because
Mm-hmm.
I'm obsessed with bags. Although my love of bags has kind of, like, it's not been put on hold, but I haven't really, like, been able to chase it as much as I would like to, in recent years. But I do love bags, as you know. And I'm excited to do a What's in My Diaper Bag video, specifically for winter, because every season, you know, what I have in my bag changes, not just based on, like, how old our kids are, but also there's things you need in the winter time that are, like, different than other times of year. So it's, like, Christmassy or whatever, but also just a general thing. And also a review of the bag that I'm currently carrying. Because it's, like, a pretty popular bag, and I think there's a lot of pluses and minuses. It's interesting because when I got the bag, I didn't like it. And then I've now grown into a different phase in my time as a mom, and now I'm loving it. But I'm also still, like, already eyeballing kind of who I want to be next.
Who do you want to be next?
I think I already told you. I think I sent you a link to who I want to be next.
Birkin bag? Is that what it was?
I wish.
You wish?
I mean, yes. Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely
yeah.
do that, yeah.
What is a Birkin bag for people that don't know?
I mean, if you don't know, then I don't think you're going to care.
If you know, you know.
I think if you're going to care about what it is, you probably already know. And if you don't know,
Alright, fair enough.
it's probably not important to you. If you're intrigued, look it up and then you'll know.
Just use context clues to figure out what we're talking about.
But, yeah, to clarify, Birkin, not Burka.
Birkin.
Very big difference.
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright.
I'm obviously an expert. Yeah, I don't really like... I understand that's interesting to you, but that's the part I at least want to show sometimes of my life.
But it's also, I feel like, that goes into an area where I think there's some things that I spend a lot of time thinking and stressing about and being prepared. And then I feel like sometimes you just wing it. And in a way it horrifies me, and in another way it seems like it must be so freeing. Like, for example, like, if you take, like, our kids somewhere, sometimes you don't even, like, take anything with you. And to me, that's, like, horrifying in the sense that it's like, what if something happens? Like, what if someone, like, pees their pants? Like, what are you going to do? What if someone, like, takes an enormous poop? What if, you know what I mean? Like, what if someone's hungry and you don't, like, have any snacks? Like, because I have so many things and, like,
It's all worked out so far.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it must be freeing in the sense that, like, usually it's fine and you don't have, like, this extra stuff to slip around with you, and I'm sure you would just figure something out if, like, an emergency arose. But on the other hand, to me, it's both stressful and necessary to, like, be prepared. Like, it's stressful sometimes because I feel like every time we leave the house, I have to, like, make sure that I have all the things that I think we're going to need for whatever the specific occasion is that we're leaving the house for. But on the other hand, it's reassuring. Like, I feel good leaving the house knowing that if something happens, I have what we need.
Just to clarify, I mean, usually going in these scenarios, you're talking about two places that have supplies that I could use to remedy any...
Like, you could emergency purchase some things, or, like, use paper towels to, like, fashion some sort of, like...
Some sort of cheap garment I could purchase really quick.
I just like just sort of having everything and having it be the things that I want, because I don't like to use, like, strange random things. I want to just have the things that we need. But also, I think part of this, though, is that, like, you have this, like, strange, like... I don't understand this about you, because I feel like you're normally what I would consider to be, like, a fairly, like, modern guy. But you're strangely very averse to being, like, a man holding a diaper bag.
That's strange?
I think it's strange. I mean, you think it's weird because, like, before you had kids, you never wanted to be, like, carrying some kind of, like, a satchel or something. But, like, I think, like, if you have kids, you, like, need stuff. So why wouldn't you be just, like, carrying a satchel of things with you?
I don't know. I can't explain it.
But it bothers you in a way that I think is very, like...
It's beyond reason.
But it's something I would more expect of, like, a guy that doesn't want to... That's, like, super worried about, like, his masculinity or something. And that's not normally something I think about you.
No.
Like, I don't normally think that you're, like, insecure in your masculinity or, like, worried about doing something that's too, like, feminine or something. But in this one very specific incident, it seems to be, like, an issue for you.
That's true. I also don't like carrying bags in general.
And yet, whenever we go anywhere, I feel like you're always wanting to put your things inside my bag.
It's very convenient.
Well, that's why I'm carrying it. I'm just saying, suddenly I have like a wallet and some keys and like some other things like
That's
going into
usually only when we're strolling or if we're at a restaurant.
That's like, I feel like encompasses most of what we do when we go places, strolling or going to a restaurant.
Yes, sometimes strolling to a restaurant.
Yes. I'm just saying, like...
But yeah, I get the utility of it. It's just hard to... I don't know. It's not
You think it would, like, look weird?
I don't know.
But, I mean, okay, even if you feel like it would
It's
look
not
weird
something I'm interested
stylistically,
in.
if you were just a guy on your own, that's not how you want to look. I think if you're a guy with kids, people understand that you might need some sort of container to house the necessary extras.
Seems like overkill.
But, like, what if someone poops?
Where are we? I mean, like I said, we're usually at places that sell clothing and diapers.
But do you
and
want to have to,
wipes.
like, buy a new outfit just because you refuse to have, like, a satchel with, like, a diaper in it?
I feel like that happens so rarely that I would just deal with it if it happened.
And yet there have been, like, so many occasions over the years where we've had, like, weird occurrences where I've had to get, like, the extra set of clothes out of my bag.
Yes, but in those cases, I could have just purchased some
True.
items from the stores where we were at.
That's true. I guess I'd rather not have to, like, emergency
Like,
purchase,
if we're,
an
like,
outfit.
going somewhere on, like, a trip, and it's a long way away, and we're going to be there for some time, it doesn't... That makes sense to me to have a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Like an overnight bag.
Yeah.
For a 3-hour trip to 2 stores.
To me, it seems essential, though, because I have the sanitizer for sanitizing things so that we do not get sick. And I have wipes, which aren't just for diaper changes, also for things like when someone is, like, eating one of the free bananas that they have at Target, and then there's, like, banana hands. Like, do you want to be with, like, a small child that has banana hands for, like, the rest of the day, or do you want to, like, wipe the banana hands away?
So you're just trying to convince me to carry a man diaper bag.
Yeah. It sort of bothers me that you're, like, so against it, when to me it just seems like you're a man with small children. Obviously, if you're leaving the house with them, take the man diaper bag. We even have a man diaper bag that someone gave us, and it's very masculine looking. It has kind of a rugged...
I don't, like, that helps, but that's not, like, I don't think that gets to the heart of why I'm...
It doesn't,
reverse.
but I guess I'm sure part of it is just that I love bags so much, it's hard for me to understand.
I don't know. I don't love bags so much.
I love them so much.
I have bags for certain things that need to be bagged.
Like, if I can dress in, like, rags and have, like, a nice bag, I'm, like, still feeling alright. Like, I feel like a bag just does so much just to uplift you and just kind of, like, make you feel the way you want to feel as you move through the world with your bag.
Oh.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, what else did you want to talk about?
Well, back to shopping. I know we talked about this the other day. We were talking about the difference between gifts that you put in a stocking and gifts that you put under the tree.
Yes, well, I think it started because you asked me, like, is there a rule as far as, like, what do you base, like, when there's this gift that is sized so it could go in the stocking?
Mm-hmm.
How do you decide if it's a stocking gift or a gift that goes under the tree? Which brings me to a slight aside, which is that I recently heard the term tree gifts used. Which I'd never really thought about it that way. Like, someone was talking about the things they got in a YouTube video. Someone was talking about what they got their kids for Christmas. And they were like, here are the gifts that are going in the stocking, and here are the tree gifts. And it's like, yes, they are the gifts going under the tree, but I'd never really thought of them as tree gifts before. But I'm going to use that term to distinguish here. So we've got the stocking stuffers and the tree gifts. And you were saying if something is sized so it could go in a stocking, what is the rule? Is it based on the cost of the item, or are there other factors?
I think the fact that people think it's okay to shove oranges in the toad as we've talked about before.
Yes, but
we've been over this. But
my general feeling, though, is that it is somewhat to do with price, but there are many other mitigating factors as far as what makes something a tree gift versus a stocking stuffer. I think that the name's the part of the stocking where you say stuffer kind of implies that it's like a cheaper item, like you're just kind of like stuffing stuff in there. So it's like, maybe like not like the bigger gifts are going in there. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's the only factor. I think how excited the recipient is going to be about the item could be a factor as well. Like, for example, some things that are somewhat expensive to be a stocking stuffer, but are stocking sized and are kind of, mediumly exciting, might go in the stocking. Mm-hmm. Whereas another item that's stocking sized, but like extremely exciting, I would save that for the tree. Because I feel like, obviously you want the person to be excited about all the things in the stocking, but you don't want the stocking to be more exciting than the tree. I guess in my mind, the stocking is kind of the appetizer, and the tree is kind of like the big meal.
That's a good way to look at it. Now, say you were getting someone a car for Christmas, and you obviously can do the thing where you have the giant bow in the car.
Sure.
That's
so the car is parked outside right now. The giant bow is on the car.
Well, I'm asking, you have the keys. Now, the keys will fit in the stocking very easily. Wouldn't that be an exciting gift to get in the stocking? However,
that's going to eclipse
what under the tree is going to compete with the car?
I think then it just sort of comes down to, like, what level of gifting are you working on? Like, is this car...
So you're saying that there's something more exciting than the car under the tree?
Yeah, like, I'm saying, like, if there's something more...
Like, if that's the appetizer, what's the main course?
If there's, like, a 3-month all expenses paid European vacation under the tree, then sure, put the car in the stocking.
But if this car is your centerpiece...
If the car is your centerpiece...
Don't put the keys in the...
Yeah, if the car is the centerpiece, I would say put the keys under the tree, because... Otherwise, the person's going to be obviously blown away when they, get the keys in the stocking and discover that there's a car outside. But then after that, the presents under the tree are going to be, like, maybe comparatively a little lackluster. Whereas I think that I've always seen the tree as the place where you want people to be like, oh! I guess because in my family growing up, we were allowed to kind of dig into the stockings sometimes before my parents were, like, totally awake.
But also, yes, that's exactly how it was with us. But also, that is where, like, the dollar store really did the most work.
Sure. And, like, there was
like, that, like you said, appetizer is probably a good word for it.
Yeah, like, there was a mix of, like, there were sometimes some somewhat nicer things. Like, there were some, like, nice plastic animal figurines and stuff sometimes in our stockings. But there were also, like, those, like, really bad tasting chocolate gold coins were always, like, there. There were always, like, some various, citrus fruits, some, like, nuts for cracking, and, fluctuating years depending on how much money my parents had. There might have been more citrus fruits and more nuts for cracking and, like, less, exciting gifts.
Yes. But they wouldn't put nuts for cracking under the tree.
No, nuts for cracking would never go under the tree.
That's what I'm saying.
But there was also just, like, a nuts for cracking bowl just kind of set out for everyone to, like, crack from.
But that aside...
But I'm saying there might be more or less nuts depending on how much filler they needed for, like, the general stocking area.
Yes. Now, is there anybody that has the tradition of tree first, stocking last?
I don't know.
Or do people only do stocking first, then tree? Because I felt like the stocking is generally kind of like the just... Yeah, tear into it,
I've always thought the stocking was kind of the first thing you check before you, like, check the tree. But also, because
the things in the stocking are also unwrapped a lot of the time.
A lot of the time, although sometimes my mom would wrap things. And I like to wrap things sometimes if they're, like, wrappable. I think it adds to the excitement.
But
it makes
you can
the
get away
take
with
longer.
Shoving things in the stocking.
There were definitely some times when my mom would, like, wrap, like, a toothbrush and put it in the stocking. It's like, this is clearly a toothbrush-shaped package in here. But it still made the stocking last longer, so I guess that's good. And I also do though think that in some ways, at least in my mind, I'm kind of organized the stocking in a similar way that I organize the tree, in that often people talk about the tree gifts, there being kind of like a big gift.
Is that your showstopper?
Yeah, the showstopper, the big gift, the kind of main present, and there's kind of some like side presents. I kind of think of the stocking that way as well, and that there could be like maybe one somewhat bigger / nicer / more expensive or whatever thing in the stocking, or / more exciting item in the stocking to kind of, and then like some more supporting kind of lesser items.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in some ways the stocking is kind of a miniature, could be kind of a miniature mirror of the tree.
I see.
But obviously like scaled down in like a different way. But yeah, I mean, if there's like a Tiffany necklace or something, I feel like it belongs under the tree, even though it might be able to fit in the stocking. Unless there's something better under the tree.
But you said, this is a side note, but we were talking about this today too, and you don't like the idea of hiding the gift until you think you've gotten all the other gifts, and then, what's that? Is that, I see something.
Well, I mean, I'm of two minds about this. I mean, I like it in the sense that I do generally with our kids keep a present back to give them kind of, later in the afternoon or in the evening if there's kind of like a slump and you feel like maybe now would be a good time to bring out a present. But it's not something that they've asked for, or at this point, they're not really, our son is just now at 4, kind of at the point where he's asking for things. But it's not something they've asked for or are expecting. So it's just a total surprise, something that we think they would like that kind of can lift the day if things start to like take a turn. So I'm pro that. What I'm against is for someone who's at the point of like wanting things and having more of an idea in their mind about like the cost of things and how much they're probably going to get and what's happening. I'm against surprises in the sense that like I'm a person who doesn't really love surprises. Usually, like, I like to manage my fun. I love surprises if they're the exact thing I want to be surprised by in the exact way that I want to be surprised. But, like, in general, like with Christmas presents, like, I have an idea of how much things cost and, like, how much money we have and, like, what's probably happening. So, like, the only time I would really like to be surprised by something is if it's something that, like, I definitely don't think you would possibly be getting for me, and then it's, like, surprisingly there. If it's just kind of like you're working with the budget that I know you're working with, then I kind of, in my mind, like to manage my fun as far as, like, I sort of like to stagger, like, the things that I think I'll be more excited about, like, throughout the gift opening in a certain way. So I don't want to, like, not have those things and then have it, like, emerge from the tree and, like, an unexpected time. Like, to me, that's just very distressing. Does that make sense?
Okay, well, that answers all my questions.
Okay. Like, I would like to be surprised by something that's above and beyond my wildest dreams. Otherwise, I'm against surprises. If that clarifies it for you.
I see.
Like, if there's a Birkin bag, that could be a surprise, but, like, because that's above and beyond my wildest dreams. You know what I mean? But if it's just something that's, like, within the range of things that I think is probably happening, then I just would like to have them just happen.
It's not happening.
I know.
I'm sorry. At least not this year.
But you see that's just an example, though. You see what I'm saying? About, like, the kind of surprises I like and the kind of surprises I don't like.
That makes sense.
Do you have any more questions?
No, I think you answered that. What else about Christmas haven't we talked about?
I mean, we've mostly just talked about shopping, but there's, like, a lot of other aspects of Christmas, obviously. But, I mean, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I'm shopping, so that's why I wanted
you're shopping now, so it's like, it's all happening for you.
It's all happening.
Are you aware that there's only a few days left to order things online and have them get to your house in time?
Becoming more aware by the day.
Yes. What are your feelings on, like, if you think you know someone really well, what are your feelings on, like, kind of going rogue as far as, like, presents you're getting for them?
I'm going a little bit rogue, not really rogue, but a little bit. Like, I generally try to follow your lists pretty closely.
But I'm excited and scared about this because I'm excited because, like, as you know, like, gift giving and, like, gift receiving is, like, my main love language. And, I mean, there are others, too. Like, that sounds so terrible. People that are familiar with love languages know this. I'm not just, like, a terrible materialistic person. But it's not just about, like, what you get.
I mean, I like affection, but I'm weird like that.
No. But the point is that, like, for people that is their love language, it's not just about getting stuff. It's about the feeling that the gift giver, through the gift, displays how much they know you and how much thought they put into it that really touches you as the gift receiver. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like people who have this as a love language love when someone really takes the time to, like, think on their own and come up with a gift that they would really like. Because that's what really shows us that you, like, really were, like, thoughtful and, like, knew what we would like and, like, knew us as a person.
Okay, but, like, how does that figure in with, like, things that you, like, need?
Well, I mean, it can figure in with things that you need, but it has to do with, like, how well do you know what the person needs and also how they'll feel about the thing they need, and also, like, because, I mean, needs can be wants.
Need is a
need can be a want.
Yeah, not need, but how do I say this?
I mean, because, like, toilet paper is a need.
No, I'm not going to buy you toilet paper.
No, I'm not saying that you would. I'm just using that as an example to be like, toilet paper is a need and a want, but not like.
I've wanted toilet paper and needed toilet paper simultaneously.
But you know what I mean. But it's like you're not excited about that. But there are other things that you might need, but also be excited about.
Need's the wrong word, maybe. Like more like, you know, someone has interests, and in order to excel at those interests, they need certain things.
Those can be great gifts.
Okay. That answers my question.
Yeah, because, I mean, that shows that you really are, like, paying attention to what the person is trying to do, and you're really, like, supportive of that.
Okay.
And I think that's very...
I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah. So. I mean, I think things like that can be good gifts, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm saying, like, I think what people who love receiving gifts love is the feeling that it gives them of being known by the other person.
But it's like, would I have just eventually purchase this thing anyway, because I'm already, you know what I mean?
I think part of what changes when you're an adult versus a kid, as far as gifts, is that, I mean, I can remember being a kid and feeling like, you know, Christmas was kind of your big shot to get stuff. And if you didn't get exactly the main the thing
birthdays.
Sure, but I mean, my birthday is pretty much exactly half a year away from Christmas. So for me, it's, you know, Christmas or the birthday. That felt like kind of... And for birthdays, though, like, it wasn't really the same for my family. Like, I didn't really, like... In my family, you didn't get to ask for things for your birthday. Like, in my family, like, we made a Christmas list for Christmas. And then my parents would usually get some of the things from the list.
You didn't make a separate birthday list?
No. In my family, birthday presents were not something you get to say what you want. I mean, occasionally, I feel like as I was, like, older, my mom would be like, you know, maybe ask if you wanted something specific for your birthday, but generally, no. Birthday presents were just kind of like a surprise that my mom would totally figure out on her own, like, what to get you. And it wasn't like something where you felt entitled to request specific gifts. So for us, Christmas was kind of the one shot. Where it's like, so it's like if you don't get the things that you wanted or the thing that you really wanted, you're just never going to have this. And of course, when you're a kid, a year feels like a really long time. So the idea that maybe next Christmas you'll get this doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, it's like each year feels like it takes forever. And so it felt like, you know, so important that you get just like the perfect things. And now, you know, as an adult, obviously... There's still that sentimental feeling of you want to have a magical Christmas where, like, all the gifts are just right. But there's also that sort of feeling of, like, you know, you could eventually somehow acquire the things you need after Christmas time, if Christmas doesn't totally pan out. You know what I mean, though, when you're a kid, and it just, obviously, maybe your experience was a little different, but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that was not exactly, yeah, we could definitely, Christmas is the main one, for sure, but I think they were a little more permissive on the birthdays, I guess. But
I don't know, I guess it didn't even, occur to me that you're allowed to ask for specific birthday presents. For me, birthday presents just kind of were whatever my parents felt like doing.
But you were probably less excited about them, right?
No, I was excited. My mom always did a really good job of figuring out what she should get us.
Well, that's good.
My mom is actually, in some instances, strangely very good at gift giving.
Well, that's good.
But also, I think, I don't know if we had the same sort of expectation when it came to birthday gifts. We knew we were getting presents and were very excited about it. But I don't think there was the expectation that the birthday gift would be this, the thing that you want. Because it was, a surprise, just kind of whatever your parents put together. It was more just kind of ooh, I wonder what I'll get for my birthday. I bet it'll be something good. You know what I mean? Obviously you don't know what I mean, but
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you enjoy this podcast, there are several ways to support it. Join the Rob Burgess Show mailing list. Go to tinyletter.com/The Rob Burgess Show and type in your email address. Then respond to the automatic message. I have a Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/Rob Burgess Show Patreon. I hope you'll consider supporting in any amount. Also, please make sure to comment, follow, like, subscribe, share, rate, and review everywhere the podcast is available, including iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Facebook, Twitter, Internet Archive, TuneIn, and RSS. The official website for the podcast is www.therobburgessshow.com. You can find out more about me by visiting my website, www.thisburgess.com. And if you have something to say, record a voice memo on your smartphone and send it to therobburgessshow@gmail.com. Include voice memo in the subject line of the email. Until next time.